When you were like a little kid, right, did you expect this to happen?
No, when I was little, I always wanted to be a famous break dancer or rapper or something, and it wasn't until about the age of 11 when I started getting interested in rock music, because I heard one of Dad or Mum's first Black Sabbath albums, and just inspired me to get a guitar and start playing.
Right. So you can break dance?
No, not anymore. I could when I was little. I was doing the robot and all the crazy stuff. I would have been so cool if I remembered, but I forgot.
Could be the time to bring it out.
Yeah, maybe.
It's unusual for children sometimes, right, to actually like what their parents like. Did you find that? Did you actually want to like the stuff, or you sort of thought you might hate it when you started listening to their records first?
Oh, I thought I'd hate it. I always thought it wouldn't be good because it's older people's music, but I put it on and I immediately it was very captivating, and I just really liked it just sounded so ahead of its time, Black Sabbath, and it just made me think about what we could do with music.
Did your parents listen to any Australian music?
I'm sure they did, but the only records I listened to of my parents were like Deep Purple and Hendrix and Sabbath, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure there was Australian music in there, like Midnight Oil and stuff like that.
Is there anything in the whole of Australian music that you look to as any sort of inspiration to your own stuff?
Yeah, Midnight Oil, I didn't discover them until I was about 14 or 15. But when I heard 10 to 1, it was really energetic and just really creative and different in a way that most Australian pub rock wasn't at the time. Most Australian pub rock didn't really appeal to me except for Midnight Oil, because it was pub rock. It had all the energy, but it also had a lot of experimentation and different angles and approaches to different songs.
You've sort of had, for a normal band, you've had like a dream run. There's probably a lot of bands that would think, why hasn't it happened to us? Like, do you think you've had it easy, or you've just been so good that you've...
No, I don't think we're so good that we deserve everything. I think we were doing the right music at the right time. I think when we got discovered... should I wait for that? Okay. Yeah, when we first started, it was both a negative and a positive, being discovered so early. I think if we were discovered now, we would start off on a much more original note, because now I don't think we sound like anything around at the moment. Whereas with our first album, it sounded a lot like the music that was popular at that time, which didn't really bother us. It was just, if it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't have got signed.
So just explain what that music was then?
It was just, we'd always just played really kind of... We were always influenced a lot by Black Sabbath. They were like our main influence, and Led Zeppelin. It just so happened that we weren't very good at playing that style of music, so we got put into the whole grunge category because it was such a garagey, heavy music term, and we weren't playing garagey because that's what we wanted to play. We were playing to the best of our potential.
You're the main songwriter, or it's a group effort, or what? I just wonder about the process of, like, say, talking about this album that's coming out.
Yeah.
I assume it's coming out. Like, how you do it.
Well, yeah, it was for the first album. Some of the songs I wrote by myself, and some of them I wrote with Ben. But I've always wrote the lyrics by myself because I just want to. It's like a form of expression, so I just want to have it, just for me to write. With the second album, it was similar to the first, but with this album now, with Neon Ballroom, I just had a really strong idea of what I wanted to do with this album in my head, so I just decided to take it on and do it by myself, and Ben and Chris didn't have a problem with it as long as it was good.
And it is good?
I think it's a lot better than our other two records. I like our other two records, but I think this album has definitely proved to people that we're a lot different to the other bands around at the moment, whereas the last two albums were pretty much standard traditional hard rock music.
What is the main thing that keeps you going with the band?
Just I think the satisfaction of being able to play music to people who appreciate it. That's the best part, because we've been playing since we were like 12 years old in pubs to no one. We never got more than 10 people at a show until we were about 15. So that was 3 years of constantly just playing to our parents, and if we did play to anyone, they weren't really interested. So yeah, actually getting up and seeing people out in front of you that appreciate the music and understand what you're trying to say in the songs is very gratifying, and it kind of keeps us motivated.
One last question: where do you think you fit within the Australian sort of thing? You know, over the last 40 years, what would you say your contribution's been?
I think in a lot of ways we've opened the door for younger bands. People tended to think that bands had to be in their mid to late 20s or early 20s to kind of be in a position to be played on the radio and stuff like that. But these days I think people are a lot more open to teenage bands, and they take teenage bands a lot more seriously and not just look at them as kids. I think that's about all we've contributed. I think with the latest album we've contributed something musically to the music scene, because it's something totally different in a lot of ways, but yeah, that's about it. We haven't really done that. We haven't been like spokespeople for a generation or anything. We just do our thing and hope people like it.